Imagine Rome 1st century CE, a city of marble and muck where grandeur meets grim. You're weaving through its crowded streets, dodging carts and cloaked senators when a whiff hits you sharp, sour, like a punch to the nose. That's not just the stench of unwashed bodies or rotting fish. It's urine, the lifeblood of Rome's laundry trade. Lining the cobblestones are clay jars brimming with liquid gold, as the Romans called it. Passers-by from slaves to patricians paused to relieve themselves, filling these pots for profit. Emperor Vespasian, ever the pragmatist, slapped a tax on this piss in 70 CE, turning bodily waste into imperial coin. You smirk at the absurdity taxing pee that's Rome's hustle, a city where even your bladder pays rent. Step closer and the smell intensifies, ammonia clawing at your throat. These jars aren't just latrine overflow, they're a commodity collected daily by workers who'd rather be anywhere else. You see a man tunic stained hauling a sloshing urn through the forum. His hands are raw, his face grim, but this is Rome's underbelly where filth fuels function. Fullers, the city's cloth cleaners, depend on these jars to scrub togas white. Urine's ammonia, you learn, breaks down grease and stains a natural detergent in a world without soap. It's ingenious really, but the stench makes you gag. Imagine the irony. Rome's elite, draped in pristine wool, owe their splendour to street-side piss pots. The streets hum with trade, and urine's no exception. Merchants haggle over jars like they're fine wine, boasting of premium batches from healthy donors. You overhear a vendor swear his stock sourced from rural latrines outshines the city's tainted supply. It's a bizarre marketplace where quality control means sniffing the goods. You wince as a cart rattles by its cargo, splashing onto the stones. The crowd barely notices. This is normal, just another day in Rome's gritty glory. But the taxman's shadow looms Vespasian's collector's patrol, ensuring every jar's profit trickles to the treasury. Pecunia non ole, they say money doesn't stink. Tell that to the poor sod carrying the urn. You pause, imagining a modern parallel. Picture a recycling bin for bodily fluids taxed by the government, sold to eco-conscious laundromats. Sounds like a dystopian startup, right? Yet Rome made it work, turning waste into wealth with shameless efficiency. The jars glint in the sun, a testament to human ingenuity and desperation. You wonder about the collectors, the invisible hands of this trade. Were they shunned, or did they take pride in keeping Rome's togas gleaming? The answer's lost in the stench. But one thing's clear, Rome's streets were a sewer of ambition where even piss had a price. Like Cher tell us, would you survive a day in this reeking city? You're in a fuller's workshop now, 2nd century Rome, where the air's thick with a sour, choking haze. The floors slick with spilled urine, and vats, big as bathtubs, bubble with the stuff mixed with wool and grit. Fuller's Rome's unsung cleaners wade barefoot into these stinking pools, stomping togas like they're crushing grapes. The squelch underfoot is nauseating, each step releasing a fresh wave of ammonia that burns your eyes. You gag, but the Fullers don't flinch. This is their life, a grueling dance in Rome's filthiest laundromat. Their hands stained yellow scrub wool with relentless rhythm, turning dingy cloth pristine. The process is brutal but effective. Urine delivered fresh from street jars is the star of this grim show. Its ammonia cuts through grease-lifting stains from senators' togas and soldiers' cloaks. You watch a Fuller, sweat-soaked knead a bolt of wool, his feet sinking deeper into the vat's murky depths. The smell's a living thing curling into your lungs like a curse. Yet there's a strange alchemy here. Piss transforms into purity, or at least the illusion of it. Romans wore these togas proudly oblivious to the reek that lingered in the fibres. You chuckle darkly clean clothes courtesy of the city's collective bladder. Outside, the workshop's stench seeps into the street, earning glares from passers-by. Fullers were essential, but despised their trade, a dirty secret behind Rome's polished facade. You imagine their lives, long hours, aching limbs, the constant tang of urine on their skin. Some use stale urine, believing it's stronger. Others mixed in clay or ash, creating a foul paste you can almost taste. A Fuller grins, joking about vintage batches, but his eyes are tired. This isn't just labour, it's survival in a city that scorns its own saviours. Modern parallel. Think of a dive bar's grease trap, only you're wading in it for a living. The vats hum with activity, a grotesque symphony of splashes and shouts. You notice a woman's sleeves rolled up, stirring a vat with a stick, her face set against the fumes. She's part of this trade too, though history barely notes her. The togas they clean will drape emperors, but the fullers' names vanish like the steam rising from these vats. You step back, the stench clinging to your tunic, and wonder, could you endure this? The answer's a hard no. Medieval laundromats make your washing machine look like a spa. Like Cher, tell us what's the grossest job you'd never touch. You're standing in a bustling Roman market, 1st century CE, where the air's a chaotic stew of spices, sweat, and something sharper urine, the unsung hero of Rome's laundry trade. Amid stalls, hawking olives and wine merchants peddle jars of piss like it's fine vintage, their shouts cutting through the din, fresh from the countryside, prime quality. You blink incredulous as a buyer sniffs a clay urn, nodding like a sommelier. This isn't just waste, it's a commodity prized for its ammonia kick, essential for fullers scrubbing togas spotless. Some swear by premium urine sourced from healthy donors or distant farms, claiming it whitens better than city slop. You stifle a laugh. Rome's got a black market for pee and it's thriving. The trade's a gritty business. You watch a merchant tunic patched haggle with a fuller over a sloshing jar. His hands are stained, his voice hoarse from barking prices. These urns filled from public latrines or rural deliveries are Rome's dirty secret, fueling a city obsessed with clean facades. Wealthy Romans, you learn, pay extra for imported urine, believing it's purer as if city piss carries the taint of plebeian filth. The irony's thick senators in gleaming togas owe their shine to this pungent trade. You imagine a modern equivalent boutique organic urine sold at a hipster laundromat, marketed as eco-chic. Rome's merchants would have loved the pitch. Coins clink as deals close, but the emperor's taxmen lurk nearby enforcing Vespasian's infamous urine tax. Introduced around 70 CE, it skims profit from every jar, turning bodily functions into imperial revenue. You hear a merchant grumble, pecunia non ole, money doesn't stink. Easy for him to say, the stench clings to everything. You step closer, dodging a cart that nearly spills its reeking load onto your sandals. The driver curses his oxen, snorting, and you realise this trade's a lifeline for Rome's underclass merchants, carters, collectors, all tethered to the city's waste. Their labour keeps Rome dazzling, but their hands stay dirty. The market's chaos is mesmerising, a grotesque ballet of commerce. You spot a woman arms strong from hauling urns, negotiating with a fuller. Her role's vital, yet history buries her name like so many in this trade. The urine she sells will clean a consul's toga, but she's just a shadow in Rome's glory. You gag as a breeze carries the ammonia sting, a reminder of what fuels this economy. It's absurd, brilliant, and revolting. Rome's genius lies in turning piss into profit. Like Cher, tell us, could you haggle over a jar of this stuff without losing your lunch? You're in a Roman public latrine, 2nd century CE, where the air's damp and the stench hits like a slap urine sweat, and worse, trapped in stone walls. Rows of marble seats line the room, no dividers, just strangers sitting shoulder to shoulder, chatting over the gurgle of waste. This isn't just a bathroom, it's a social hub, a harvest ground for Rome's laundry trade. The urine pooling in channels below is gold to fullers collected daily for cleaning togas. You hold your breath watching a worker face grim scoop the stuff into jars. It's a job that makes your stomach churn, but in Rome even piss has purpose. The latrine's a marvel of engineering with aqueducts, flushing waste, yet the smell's relentless ammonia burning your nostrils. Romans unfazed swap gossip or business deals their tunics hiked up. You marvel at their nonchalance. This is normal, a civic duty feeding the city's laundry machine. By 100 CE, Rome's latrines supplied gallons of urine daily funneled to fullers' vats. Collectors, often slaves or the poor, wade through this grim harvest, their hands slick with filth. You imagine the modern equivalent to public restroom where every flush funds your dry cleaner. Absurd, but Rome made it work. The workers' lives are brutal. You see a boy barely 10 lugging a heavy urn, his sandals slipping on whetstone. His eyes are dull, his hands calloused, a child bound to Rome's dirtiest trade. The crowd ignores him, but his labour keeps their togas gleaming. Some latrines, you learn, were premium sources, their urine prized for its potency, fetched from wealthier districts. The thoughts grotesque, did a senator's piss clean better? You chuckle darkly, but the reality is grim. This system thrived on exploitation, masked by Rome's grandeur. Vespasian's tax still in force skims every jar, a reminder that even here the empire profits. The latrine's echoes, laughter-splashing groans blend into a surreal hum. You step back, the stench clinging to your cloak, and wonder how anyone endured this. The workers invisible yet essential bear the city's filth so others shine. It's a twisted kind of alchemy, turning human waste into social status. Like Cher tell us, could you stomach a shift in Rome's reeking latrines? You're inside a fuller's workshop in Rome, 1st century CE, where the air bites like a living thing, ammonia's sharp tang searing your nostrils. The vats brimming with urine bubble softly, their fumes curling like ghosts in the dim light. Fullers churn wool in these stinking pools, their hands stained yellow, their faces set against the burn. This isn't just filth, it's alchemy, urine's ammonia working miracles on grease and grime. You marvel at the science crude but clever Romans centuries before. Soap cracked the code of clean with what most flushed away. But the smell, it's a punch you can't dodge, a sour haze that clings like regret. Step closer and the process unfolds. Urine, fresh or stale, is the star. Its ammonia breaks down oils in wool, leaving togas bright enough for senators' egos. You watch a fuller muscles taut, knead cloth in a vat, the liquid sloshing like a rancid tide. Historical records from Pliny the Elder note urine's power, praised in 77 CE as a cleaner and even a tooth whitener. You wince imagining that gritty paste in your mouth. The fullers mix in clay or sulphur, sometimes creating a foul sludge that stings your eyes. It's eco-friendly, sure, until you inhale. Modern equivalent picture, a sustainable laundry detergent brewed from your neighbour's latrine. The workshop's a furnace of labour and stench. You see a worker sweat beading pause to wipe his brow, only to smear more grime. His hands, raw from ammonia's bite, tell a story of endless toil. The vats never rest, fed by carts hauling urine from Rome's latrines. Some fullers swear by aged urine, claiming it's stronger, like a fine wine gone horribly wrong. You chuckle, but the thought's grim. This is Rome's underbelly, where ingenuity meets insanity. The ammonia's sting isn't just chemical, it's a reminder of a city built on exploiting its filth and its people. You step back, eyes watering, and wonder how they endured. The fuller's craft was vital, yet they were scorned, their workshops shunned by Rome's elite. Still their work made the city shine, one toga at a time. It's a paradox wrapped in a stench. Piss as power, waste as wealth. Like Cher tell us, could you handle a day breathing this alchemical nightmare? You're in a Roman forum, 2nd century CE, surrounded by senators draped in togas so white they gleam like marble under the sun. But lean closer, and there's a faint whiff. Ammonia, the ghost of urine lingering in the wool. These pristine garments, symbols of Roman prestige, were scrubbed in vats of human piss, a dirty secret behind the city's splendour. Fullers worked miracles, transforming stained cloth into status, but the process left traces you can't unsmell. You smirk at the irony. Rome's elite, strutting like gods, owe their glow to the city's collective bladder. Clean, sure, if you ignore the origin story. The toga's journey is grim. After fullers stomped it in urine-filled vats, the cloth was rinsed, beaten, and brushed with chalk to dazzle. By 100 CE, Rome's laundry trade was a machine churning out togas for consuls and priests. You imagine slipping one on the wool, scratchy, the faint sourness tickling your nose. It's clean enough, but the knowledge of its making hours in ammonia-soaked vats makes your skin crawl. Some Romans, you learn, demanded premium urine-washed togas, believing rural piss outshone urban slop. It's absurd, like choosing organic kale over regular, except it's bodily waste. You picture the fuller who made this toga, his hands raw, his life spent in stench. He's invisible, his labour buried under Rome's grandeur. The elite parade past, oblivious their togas a lie of purity. You spot a woman adjusting her husband's drape, her pride, masking the grim truth of its cleaning. Modern parallel. Imagine buying a designer shirt only to learn it was washed in a porta potty. Rome's togas were status, but their shine came at a cost-human toil and a stench that never fully faded. The forum hums with power, but you can't shake the smell, a reminder of Rome's filthy foundation. You step away, the crowd's chatter fading, and wonder, could you wear this lie? The toga's crisp folds hide a gritty truth one Rome embraced without blinking. It's a city of contradictions where piss-dyed purity ruled. Like Tellus, would you strut in a toga knowing its reeking past? You're weaving through Rome's bustling streets 1st century CE, where the air hums with hawkers and the clatter of carts. A foul whiff hits you, ammonia sharp as a blade wafting from a fuller's workshop. Inside, fullers toil knee-deep in urine-filled vats scrubbing togas for Rome's elite. But outside, the crowd sneers, noses wrinkled, as if the workers themselves are the filth. Fullers vital to the city's pristine image are shunned their trade, a dirty secret in a society obsessed with status. You pause, watching a fuller, hands-raw tunic stained, endure a passerby's jeer. His labour keeps Rome dazzling, but he's less than the dust on a senator's sandal. The stigma's no accident. In Rome's rigid hierarchy, fullers ranked low, their work deemed vile despite its necessity. By 100 CE, their workshops dotted cities like Pompeii, churning out togas for consuls and priests, yet they were barred from high society. You imagine their lives, dawn to dusk, toil, the relentless stench of urine burning their lungs, their wages barely enough to scrape by. A fuller trudges past, shoulders hunched, avoiding eyes that judge him. His craft transforms wool into wealth, but he's a pariah, his hands forever marked by ammonia's bite. Modern parallel picture. A sanitation worker today, essential but invisible, mocked by those they serve. You step closer, the workshop's reek a living thing curling into your throat. A woman stirs a vat, her arms strong, but her face weary, ignored by the crowd. Women, too, bore this stigma, their roles in the urine trade rarely noted in Rome's records. You hear a merchant's taunt smells like a fuller's soul and wince. The cruelty's casual, but the fullers endure their work a silent defiance. They know the truth without them. Rome's grandeur would crumble its togas stained and shabby. The irony is bitter. Those who clean are deemed the dirtiest, their labour a paradox of pride and shame. You turn away, the crowd's jeers fading, but the fuller's tired eyes linger in your mind. Rome shines because of them, yet they're cast aside, their lives steeped in scorn as much as urine. It's a city built on contradictions where filth fuels glory. Like Tellus, could you face a day as Rome's outcast, cleaning its pride while swallowing its hate? You're in a dim Roman apothecary 2nd century CE, where shelves sag with jars of herbs, oils, and yes, urine. The air's thick with a sour tang, not just from the laundry trade, but from urine's bizarre role in Rome's medicine and crafts. Beyond cleaning togas, it's a cure, a dye, a tanning agent, a multi-tool of bodily waste. You watch an apothecary as fingers stained mix urine into a bubbling potion, swearing it whitens teeth or soothes wounds. You gag the thought of that gritty paste on your gums like a sip from a latrine. Rome's ingenuity is wild, but this, it's a step too far. Urine's versatility was no secret. Pliny the Elder, writing in 77 CE, praised it for tanning leather, softening hides, in vats that reeked worse than the slaughterhouses. Tanners like fullers waded through ammonia's sting, their hands scarred by the process. You picture a tannery hide soaking in urine, the stench a cloud that chokes the street. In medicine, urine treated sores or mixed with ash for eye salves, remedies as grim as the ailments. Some even believed aged urine left to fester held mystical powers, a whisper of folklore in every dose. You shudder imagining the taste like a crypt's leftover brew. The shop hums with grim purpose. A woman buys a vial told it'll cure her fever. She doesn't flinch at its origin. You marvel at Rome's acceptance. Urine wasn't just waste. It was a resource as vital as grain or gold. Modern parallel, think of natural remedies gone wrong, like chugging kombucha brewed in a sewer. The apothecary's eyes gleam, his trade thriving on desperation and belief. But there's an eerie edge. Did these cures heal, or did they curse? The lines blurry and the smell doesn't help. You step outside, the air barely fresher, the apothecary's potion still haunting your thoughts. Rome turned piss into power, but at what cost? It's a city where even medicine reeks of madness. Like Tellus, would you trust a cure born in Rome's latrines? You're standing in Pompeii 79 CE before Vesuvius's wrath froze the city in ash. The air carries a faint sour sting ammonia, the hallmark of the fuller's workshops that dot this bustling town. Step into one and the scene's a grim snapshot. Urine-filled vats half stirred with wool submerged in murky liquid. When Mount Vesuvius erupted, it buried these workshops, preserving their stench for centuries. Archaeologists uncovered them, vats intact, a testament to Rome's laundry trade. You imagine the last fuller stirring his vat, oblivious to the ash about to seal his world. The silence now is eerie, the stink a ghost trapped in time. The workshops, like the one at Pompeii's fullonica of Stephanus, were urine-powered hubs. Fullers stomped wool in vats ammonia, stripping stains to keep togas gleaming. You picture the scene workers sweat-soaked wading through. Piss, their feet numb from the cold, slimy stone. The air was thick, choking each breath, a battle against the fumes. Excavations reveal clay jars once brimming with urine from public latrines, now cracked but telling. This was no side gig. Pompeii's fullers were central to its economy, their labour dressing the city's elite. Yet when the ash fell, their vats became their tombs, the stench eternal. You wander the ruins, the preserved vats, a grim museum. The silence is heavy, broken only by your footsteps echoing on stone. You can almost smell it still, that acrid burn, as if the urine's curse lingers. Modern parallel. Imagine a laundromat frozen mid-cycle, its machines leaking detergent for archaeologists to gawk at. Pompeii's fullers didn't know their work would outlive them, etched in ash and infamy. The vats, once alive with squelching and shouts, now stand mute, a reminder of Rome's gritty ingenuity. You shiver not from cold, but from the thought this city's shine was built on filth, and time didn't let it forget. The preserved stench tells a story of labour and loss. Fullers' men and women toiled here, their names erased, but their vats enduring. You picture a woman stirring one last time, her hands raw, unaware of the volcano's rage. Pompeii's fall was sudden, but its urine-soaked legacy lingers, a bizarre monument to human hustle. Like Tellus, could you stand in Pompeii's ruins and not smell the past? You're in Rome. 70 CE, where the clink of coins mixes with the sour reek of urine-soaked streets. Emperor Vespasian, cash-strapped after civil war, has a bold idea: tax the piss. Urine collected from latrines and sold to fullers is Rome's dirty gold, and Vespasian wants a cut. His urine tax, levied on every jar hauled from public toilets, turns bodily waste into imperial profit. You watch a taxman, scroll in hand, haggle with a merchant, his cart sloshing with urns. The merchant grumbles, but pays Rome's treasury, doesn't care if the money stinks. You smirk, taxing P, that's peak Roman hustle. The tax introduced around 70 CE wasn't new. Nero tried it earlier, but Vespasian made it infamous. Historical records, like Suetonius's accounts, note his son Titus scoffing at the idea, only for Vespasian to wave a coin under his nose. Pecunia non olet, money doesn't stink. You imagine the scene, the emperor grinning as merchants curse under their breath. Every jar filled from latrines or street-side pots fuels Rome's laundry trade, and now the empire's coffers. You see a collector tunic stained dodge a splash as he loads his cart. His work's grim, but it keeps togas white and Rome rich. The streets hum with this bizarre economy. Taxmen patrol their presence, a constant thorn for traders. You overhear a fuller complain. First we choke on the stench, now we pay for it. The crowd laughs, but the tax sticks. Every drop of urine is a drop of revenue. Modern parallel picture. A government taxing your recycling bin, profiting off your trash. Vespasian's genius was seeing wealth in waste, a legacy that outlasted his reign. You spot a woman hauling an urn, her labour tax, before it even reaches the vats. She's invisible, yet her work funds an empire. You step back, the clatter of coins fading, but the irony lingers. Rome's grandeur, its marble, its togas, rests on piss and profit. Vespasian's tax was a masterstroke, but it came at the cost of those who carried the stench. Like Tellus, would you pay a tax on your own waste to keep an empire running? You're in the heart of Rome. 2nd century CE, where the streets pulse with noise and the sharp sting of ammonia hangs heavy. Amid the chaos, a woman trudges through the crowd, her arms straining under the weight of a clay urn sloshing with urine. She's a collector, one of many women in Rome's urine trade, hauling liquid gold from latrines to fullers' workshops. Her hands are calloused, her tunic stained, yet she moves with grim purpose, dodging jeers from passers-by who scorn her work. You watch her invisible to the city's elite, and realise her labour keeps Rome's togas gleaming a silent force behind the empire's shine. Women like her were vital but erased from history's pages. In Rome's patriarchal churn, they collected urine from public latrines or street-side jars, often at dawn when the city's waste was freshest. By 100 CE, this trade fueled the fullers who scrubbed wool for senators and priests. Yet these women faced the same stigma as their male counterparts, worse sometimes, for daring to work at all. Imagine her life, back-aching nostrils burning each step. A battle against the stench and the crowd's disdain. She carries what others discard, turning Rome's filth into function. Modern parallel picture. A gig worker sorting trash for recycling, paid pennies, ignored by the city they serve. You step closer, the urn's sour reek hitting like a wave. She pauses, wiping sweat from her brow, her eyes scanning the market for the next fuller. A merchant haggles with her offering less than her load's worth, but she stands firm, voice low but sharp. Her strength is quiet, uncelebrated, yet it powers Rome's laundry machine. Some women, you learn, gathered urine from their households, a side hustle in a world that offered them little. The taxman looms Vespasian's urine tax still biting in 70 CE skims. Her earnings a reminder that even her toil feeds the empire's greed. You turn away the woman's silhouette, fading into the crowd, but her burden lingers in your mind. She's a ghost in Rome's story, her work essential yet scorned, her hands steeped in the city's dirtiest secret. Rome shines because of her, but she'll never wear the togas she helps clean. Like Tellus, could you carry her load, ignored yet indispensable in Rome's reeking streets? You're in a dimly lit Roman home, 1st century CE, where a flickering lamp casts shadows on clay walls. The air carries a faint sour tang urine, not just for laundry, but steeped in whispers of mystic power. Romans didn't just see piss as a cleaner. Some believed it held a purifying force, a folk remedy born from superstition. You overhear a healer, her voice low, touting urine's virtues, a dab on a wound, a rinse for sore eyes, even a sip to banish evil spirits. You recoil the thought of that acrid liquid on your skin like a curse, but to them it's a sacred gift from the body's depths. This belief wasn't universal, but it thrived in Rome's underbelly. Pliny the Elder, writing in 70th CE, noted urine's use in rituals and remedies, claiming it could ward off curses or heal infections. You picture a woman desperate kneeling by a shrine, rubbing urine-soaked cloth on her fevered child, praying to gods who might listen. The air's thick with incense and ammonia, a strange blend of faith and filth. Some swore aged urine left to fester carried divine potency, its stench a sign of potency. You shudder an ancient energy drink brewed in a latrine. The mystique extended beyond medicine. In tanneries and dye houses, workers whispered that urine blessed their craft, linking it to alchemical secrets. You imagine a fuller stirring his vat, half convinced his piss-soaked wool channels some cosmic purity. Modern parallel. Think of a wellness guru peddling detox teas that taste suspiciously like regret. The line between science and superstition blurred in Rome, where urine was both practical and arcane. You catch a whiff sharp and biting and wonder, did it cleanse or did it haunt? The answer's lost in the flickering lamplight. You step outside the night air, barely fresher, the healer's words echoing. Rome's faith in urine's power was as strong as its stench, a bizarre dance of belief and necessity. It's a city where even waste held magic or madness. Like Tellus, would you trust a remedy steeped in Rome's strange folklore? You're on a Roman street at dawn, 1st century CE, where the clatter of carts cuts through the morning mist. The air's sharp with ammonia, a sour reminder of the urine trade that keeps Rome's togas pristine. Creaking ox carts laden with clay urns sloshing with piss rumble toward fullers' workshops. Collectors' faces grim guide these loads from public latrines and street-side jars, their hands slick with the city's waste. It's a logistical dance, dirty and precise. ensuring urine flows from Rome's bowels to its laundry vats. You watch a driver curse as a pot tips, splashing his sandals. This is Rome's underbelly filth on wheels, fueling an empire's shine. The operation's scale is staggering. By 100 CE, Rome's latrines and street pots supplied gallons daily hauled across the city in a network rivaling its aqueducts. You picture the collector's route from crowded forums to quiet alleys' urns, filled under the cover of night to avoid the crowd's scorn. Each cart's a gamble, spills mean lost profit, and Vespasian's urine tax, still biting since 70 CE, takes a cut from every load. You see a woman steady an urn, her arms, straining her eyes, scanning for taxmen. Her work's vital, but one wrong step could douse her in Rome's liquid gold. Modern parallel. Imagine a delivery app for bodily waste drivers dodging traffic to keep laundromats stocked. The logistics are brutal. Collectors, often slaves or the poor, navigate narrow streets, their carts creaking under the weight of dozens of urns. You hear the oxen snort, the driver shout. The liquids slosh a symphony of grime. Some urns marked for premium buyers come from elite latrines, as if a senator's piss cleans better. You chuckle, but the reality's grim. This trade thrives on exploitation its workers, toiling in stench for meagre pay. The city depends on them, yet they're invisible, their labour buried under Rome's gleaming facade. You catch a whiff, sharp and sour, and wince. No delivery job was ever this foul. You step aside as a cart rolls past its driver's face, etched with exhaustion. Rome's laundry machine runs on their sweat, but history forgets their names. It's a city of paradoxes where waste fuels wealth, and collectors bear the load. Like Share tell us, could you steer a cart through Rome's reeking streets? You're in a Roman alley, 2nd century CE, where the dawn light barely pierces the haze of ammonia. A boy no older than 10 stumbles under the weight of a clay urn, urine sloshing inside. His hands, small and calloused, grip the jar tightly, his sandals slipping on damp cobblestones. He's a collector, one of many children tasked with gathering piss from street pots for Rome's fullers. The stench burns his nostrils, but he moves fast, dodging carts and jeering merchants. You watch hearts sinking. This is childhood in Rome, where innocence drowns in the city's filth. Children were the unseen cogs in Rome's urine trade. By 100 CE, they scurried through latrines and alleys, filling jars for fullers who scrubbed togas white. Their small size made them nimble, perfect for weaving through crowds with heavy loads. You imagine the boy's day up before sunrise, hands raw, the sour reek his constant companion. Some were slaves, others poor freeborn kids, all paid in scraps or nothing. Vespasian's tax still in force, cut into their family's earnings, a cruel tax on a child's labour. Modern parallel picture kids sorting recycling for pennies, their futures traded for a city's clean clothes. You step closer, the boy's eyes dull with exhaustion. He sets the urn down, wiping sweat from his brow, only to smear more grime. A woman, perhaps his mother, calls sharply, urging him to hurry. The crowd ignores him, their togas gleaming thanks to his toil. Some jars, you learn, were special urine from wealthier districts prized by fullers for elite clients. The thought's absurd, but grim. Even a child's burden carried Rome's class divides. You shudder, the stench clinging like guilt, wondering how he endures this daily grind. You turn away, the boy's small frame fading into the alley's shadows. His work keeps Rome's elite pristine, but he's a ghost his childhood sacrificed to the city's laundry machine. Rome's glory rests on tiny shoulders steeped in piss and poverty. Like Share tell us, could you watch a child carry Rome's filth and call it progress? You're elbow deep in a Roman market, 1st century CE, where the air's a riot of shouts, spices, and the unmistakable sour sting of urine. Amid stalls piled with figs and fish vendors hawk clay jars brimming with piss, their voices booming like they're selling fine wine. Fresh from the latrines, pure as the Tiber one yells, waving an urn under a buyer's nose. You gag the ammonia hitting like a slap, but this is Rome's reality. Urine, the dirty fuel of its laundry trade, sits alongside market wares, a commodity as vital as grain. Fullers snap up these jars to scrub togas, and you marvel at the absurdity, a farmer's market from hell, where bodily waste is a hot item. The scene's chaotic, but calculated. By 100 CE, Rome's urine trade was a lifeline for fullers with merchants sourcing from public latrines or rural suppliers for premium batches. You watch a deal go down a fuller hand-stained haggles over a jar, insisting on countryside piss for its supposed potency. The vendor smirks, knowing city slop's just as good, but profit's profit. Vespasian's taxmen hover their urine tax, infamous since 70 CE, skimming every sale. You hear coins clink, a merchant muttering pecunia non ole my arse. The stench begs to differ, curling into your lungs like a curse. A woman weaves through balancing an urn, her face set against the crowd's jeers. She's part of this trade, her labour feeding Rome's toga obsession, yet she's ignored her work, as thankless as the reek. You imagine a modern parallel, a pop-up shop selling artisanal waste for eco-laundry hyped on social media. Rome's merchants mastered the hustle, turning piss into status, but the cost falls on the invisible collectors, carters, women like her. The market hums, urns glinting in the sun, a grotesque reminder of Rome's ingenuity and its grim underbelly. You step back, the ammonia fading, but the scene sticking. Rome's market sold everything, even what you'd flush, and made it work. It's a city where filth meets fortune, and you're not sure whether to laugh or retch. Like Cher, tell us, could you stomach shopping in Rome's piss-soaked stalls? You're in a fuller's workshop in Rome, 2nd century CE, where the air's a choking haze of ammonia sharp enough to make your eyes water. Vats bubble with urine, the secret behind Rome's gleaming togas, and the science crude but brilliant hits you like the stench itself. Urine's ammonia, a natural solvent, dissolves grease and stains, turning soiled wool pristine. You watch a fuller hand's raw stir a vat, the liquid hissing as it works its magic. No soap, no detergents, just piss Rome's DIY cleaner centuries ahead of its time. You smirk at the genius, but the smell's a brutal price to pay. The process documented by Pliny the Elder in 77 CE was simple. Urine fresh or aged broke down oils in wool, leaving it soft and white. Imagine the fuller's routine, pouring jars from latrines, mixing in clay or ash for extra grit, then stomping the cloth like it's a personal vendetta. The vats steam, the ammonias sting, a constant burn in your throat. Some fullers swore by stale urine, its potency amped up by time like a rancid vintage. You wince, picturing the taste of it splashed your lips. Modern parallel, think of a green detergent brewed from recycled waste marketed as sustainable but reeking of regret. The workshop's a laboratory of filth. A woman, sleeves rolled, stirs a vat, her movements precise despite the fumes. She knows the science, even if she'd never call it that urine's power was Rome's open secret. The vats, fed by the city's endless supply, churn day and night, each one a testament to human ingenuity. But the cost is clear. Workers' lungs burn their hands, scar their lives spent in this sour haze. You step closer, the chemical sting hitting hard, and wonder how they endured. Rome's togas shone, but the science behind them was as gritty as the streets they came from. You retreat, the workshop's hum fading, but the ammonia's bite lingers. Rome cracked the code of clean with the filthiest tool, a paradox that defined its hustle. It's a city where science met stench and somehow it worked. Like Cher, tell us, could you handle a day in this pungent lab? You're in a fuller's workshop in Rome, 2nd century CE, where the dawn's grey light barely pierces the haze of ammonia that chokes the air. The fuller's daily grind is relentless, knee-deep in urine-filled vats. They stomp wool with bare feet, the squelch of liquid a grim rhythm. You watch a man, face etched with exhaustion, his tunic soaked with sweat and piss-kneed cloth like it's his last act on earth. The stench is a living thing, clawing your lungs, but for him it's just another day keeping Rome's togas pristine. His hands, raw from ammonia's bite, move mechanically, each motion a testament to survival in a city that demands clean facades at a dirty cost. By 100 CE, fullers were the backbone of Rome's laundry trade, their workshops humming from sunrise to dusk. You imagine his routine, hauling urns from latrines, stirring vats, scrubbing wool until his muscles scream. The urine, fresh or festering, burns his skin, its ammonia-stripping stains, but also his strength. Some days he adds clay or sulphur, the mixture fizzing like a witch's brew, the fumes stinging his eyes. You wince, picturing the endless cycle, filled stomp rinse, repeat all for wages that barely buy bread. Modern parallel. Think of a factory worker on an assembly line, except the product's piss and the air's a toxic fog. The workshop's a battlefield of labour. A woman nearby, her arms scarred from years at the vat, stirs with grim focus, ignoring the jeers from outside. She's part of this grind, her work as vital as any man's, yet history buries her name. The crowd outside scorns them both, their clean togas a silent debt to these workers' toil. You catch the man's glance, weary, but defiant. He knows Rome's glory rests on his aching back. The vats bubble the stench, unrelenting a reminder that this grind powers an empire's shine while breaking those who fuel it. You step back, the workshop's hum fading, but the fuller's tired eyes linger. His daily grind is Rome's dirty secret, a life spent in filth for others' splendour. It's a city where labour and stench intertwine, and only the strong endure. Like Cher Tellus, could you survive a day in this reeking grind? You're in a quieter Rome, late 3rd century CE, where the once ubiquitous stench of urine in workshops is fading. The vats still sour with ammonia bubble, less fiercely now as new methods creep into the city's laundry trade. Soap, crude but effective, is gaining ground, imported from Gaul or made from ash and fat. Fullers, once knee-deep in piss, now experiment with these cleaners, their hands less raw, their lungs less burned. You watch a fuller, his face less grim than his predecessors, rinse wool with a soapy mix, the ammonia's sting a fading memory. Rome's moving on, but the urine trade's legacy lingers in its gleaming togas. By the 3rd century, Rome's reliance on urine waned. Historical records, like those from the Edict of Diocletian in 301 CE, hint at shifting practices with soap and alkaline mixes, listed alongside traditional methods. You imagine the relief: fewer urns hauled from latrines, fewer carts spilling their reeking loads. The urine tax, Vespasian's brainchild from 70 CE, still lingers but collects less as fullers pivot. A woman stacks jars her load lighter, now her eyes less haunted. Yet the old ways persist in poorer workshops, where urine's cheap and soaps a luxury. The transition's slow, Rome's filth, not so easily scrubbed away. The workshop feels different, less chaotic, the air almost breathable. You spot a fuller testing a new mix's vat, free of that sour tang. The crowd outside still wears togas, but fewer owe their shine to piss. Modern parallel picture. A town ditching coal for solar, the old grime giving way to cleaner tech, but with nostalgia for the dirty days. The fuller's grind eases, but their stigma remains, their role in Rome's glory uncelebrated. You wonder if they felt the change, or if the stench still defined them. Rome's laundry machine is evolving, but its past reeks eternal. You leave the workshop's hum, softer now, the air less heavy. Urine's decline marks progress, but Rome's brilliance was built on its filthy foundation. A city of togas and taxes, it never fully escapes its pungent past. Like Cher Tellus, would you cheer the end of Rome's piss-soaked era? You stand in Rome's fading light, 3rd century CE, where the once pungent air of urine-soaked workshops grows quieter. The city's laundry trade, built on piss leaves, a legacy etched in its gleaming togas and gritty streets. Fuller's collectors and their vats of liquid gold powered Rome's shine, turning waste into wealth, with the ingenuity that's both brilliant and revolting. You imagine the empire's marble forums, its senators draped in wool, scrubbed by ammonia's sting, all owed to the unsung workers who toiled in filth. The stench may fade, but Rome's legacy of exploiting its waste and its people endures like the cobblestones under your feet. By 200 CE, urine's role was waning, but its mark on Rome's history was indelible. The trade fueled by latrines and taxed by emperors like Vespasian since 70 CE showed a city that thrived on contradictions. Grandeur born of grime, status steeped in stench. You picture a fuller, his hands scarred, stirring a vat one last time, his labour forgotten but his togas worn by consuls. Women and children too carried this legacy, their urns and sweat as vital as any aqueduct. The irony's sharp, Rome's glory from its forums to its temples rested on the reek of human waste. You wander past a quiet workshop, its vats nearly empty as soap creeps in. The ammonia's bite lingers, a ghost of Rome's hustle. Modern parallel think of a city recycling its trash into art only to forget the workers who made it possible. Rome's legacy isn't just marble and conquest. It's the ingenuity of turning piss into profit, the cost borne by those who carried the jars. You catch a faint whiff, a reminder of a city that shone through its filth, its brilliance inseparable from its muck. You turn away, Rome's skyline glowing, but the legacy of filth sticks. It's a city where even waste was a masterpiece crafted by those history ignored. The togas dazzle, but their story reeks of truth. Like Tellus, can you see Rome's glory without smelling its past? You're back in the present. July 18, 2025. But Rome's urine-soaked legacy echoes in your mind. The ancient trade collecting piss, taxing it, scrubbing togas with it, feels like a fever dream, yet it mirrors today's world in uncanny ways. Recycling fads, eco-friendly detergents, and sustainable startups chasing waste-to-wealth schemes all carry Rome's DNA. You picture a modern lab, sterile and sleek, bottling some new green cleaner, and wonder, are we so different? Rome turned piss into profit. We turned trash into trends, both chasing ingenuity while ignoring the labour behind it. Rome's laundry trade, peaking in the 1st century CE, showed a city that mastered waste. Vespasian's urine tax, mocked yet effective, funded an empire much like today's carbon taxes or recycling fees. You imagine a fuller knee-deep in a vat laughing at our zero-waste hype, same game cleaner packaging. The workers from women hauling urns to children dodging spills are echoed in today's gig economy, where invisible hands keep cities running. Modern parallel picture, an app delivering recycled goods drivers paid pennies their work as thankless as a Roman collector's. Rome's stench is gone, but its hustle lives on. You reflect on the togas, pristine yet born of filth, and see parallels in our polished lives. We hide our waste behind glossy brands, but the grind remains, someone somewhere handles the muck. Rome's legacy isn't just its ruins, it's the human drive to turn the vile into value, even if it costs the unseen. You take a breath, grateful for soap, but the echo lingers. Every shiny system has its dirty roots. Rome's piss-powered past reminds us progress smells better, but it's still built on sweat. You close your eyes. Rome's streets fading, but the lesson sticks. We've swapped urns for recycling bins, but the game's the same ingenuity, exploitation and a hint of madness. Like Tellus, do you see Rome's echo in our clean world? You're in a dusty 1830s American town where the air smells of horse dung and hope. In a crowded apothecary, Dr. Archibald Miles, a slick, talking huckster, holds up a bottle of his compound extract of tomato ketchup by another name peddled as a miracle cure. The label promises relief from indigestion, jaundice. Even the blues and the crowd eats it up their coins, clinking like prayers. You watch a woman face pale, clutch the syrupy red bottle desperate for health. You smirk ketchup as medicine. It's absurd, like chugging BBQ sauce for a cold, but in 1835 tomatoes were exotic, their red glow a beacon of quackery. Miles's pitch was genius. Tomatoes new to American tables were hailed as near magical, and he cashed in bottling ketchup as a tonic in the 1830s patent medicine boom. You imagine her sipping it, the tangy, vinegary sludge coating her throat, her faith outweighing the taste. The bottle's gritty texture hides a truth early ketchups, often mixed tomatoes with questionable additives from starch to mystery spices. You wince picturing her trust in this cure as Miles counts his profits. Modern parallel. Think of a wellness influencer hawking a $50 smoothie cleanse, all hype, no proof. The apothecary hums with desperation. A man buys 2 bottles swearing it'll fix his rheumatism. Miles grins his spiel as slick as the ketchup itself. You smell the tang sharp and sour and wonder how they believed. But in a world without antibiotics, hope was bottled in red. Like Tellus, Would you swallow ketchup for a cure? You're at a bustling 1830s fair in Ohio, with the air's thick with dust and the shouts of hawkers. Amid snake oil and miracle tonics, a stand sells ketchup as medicine Dr. Miles's compound extract of tomato, a star in the patent medicine craze. Crowds swarm coins flashing as a salesman promises cures for indigestion, fever, even heartbreak. You watch a farmer, weathered and hopeful, buy a bottle, its red contents glinting like a potion. You chuckle darkly, ketchup as a cure-all. It's a scam as bold as a carnival barker, but in the 1830s, quackery was king. The patent medicine boom, peaking in the mid-19th century, thrived on desperation and distrust in early medicine. Ketchup, with tomato's exotic allure, was just one of many dubious tonics flooding America. You imagine the farmer downing a spoonful its sour tang, masking who knows what, additives, vinegar, maybe lead-laced sugar. Historical records note thousands fell for such cures, spending fortunes on bottles that did nothing. The salesman's voice booms, drowning out doubt his pitch, a mix of showmanship and lies. Modern parallel picture, a pop-up ad for a miracle pill promising everything, delivering nothing. The fair's chaos mirrors the era's fevered hope. A woman buys a bottle, her eyes bright with faith in its red promise. You smell the ketchup's tang, a grim reminder of trust misplaced. These hawkers sold dreams, but at what cost-like share? Tell us, could you resist the lure of a quack cure in a desperate time? You're in a bustling 1830s American town where a market stall glows with the red of fresh tomatoes, rare and exotic in this era. To the crowd, they're not just food, they're medicine, a near-magical cure peddled as ketchup by hucksters like Dr. Archibald Miles. His compound extract of tomato promises to banish indigestion, jaundice, even melancholy, and folks believe it their eyes wide with hope. You watch a woman sniff a bottle, its tangy aroma sharp, and buy it convinced it holds life itself. You smirk tomatoes as a superfood scam. It's laughable, but in 1835 their strange reputation made ketchup a bottled miracle. Tomatoes were new to America, feared as poison by some, revered as potent by others. By the 1830s, quacks capitalized on this mystique, touting their health-giving powers during the patent medicine craze. You imagine her sipping the ketchup, its vinegary bite masking dubious promises. Historical accounts like those from the era's broadsides show tomatoes hyped as a cure for everything from fever to fatigue. Modern parallel, think of goji berries or kale hyped as cure-alls sold at a markup. The crowd buzzes coins, clinking as the tomatoes' glow blinds them to reason. The stall's air is thick with tangy hope. A man buys a bottle, swearing it'll fix his aches. You smell the ketchup's sour edge, a reminder of faith misplaced in a world before science. Tomato's strange reputation fueled a frenzy, and you wonder how many suffered for it. Like Cher, tell us, would you fall for a fruit sold as salvation? You're in a dim 1830s apothecary where bottles of Dr. Miles's ketchup line the shelves, their red contents glinting like potions. Labelled as cures for indigestion or rheumatism, they hide a grim truth. Early ketchups were a witch's brew of tomatoes and suspect additives. You watch a man down a spoonful, its gritty texture catching in his throat, unaware of the starch, vinegar, or even toxic preservatives like lead-laced sugar mixed in. The sour tang hits your nose and you wince, medicine or poison. In the 1830s patent medicine boom, the line was blurry and profit trumped safety. These ketchups, peddled as compound extract of tomato, were far from today's condiment. Historical records from the era note recipes with unlisted fillers, cheap spices, spoiled tomatoes, sometimes mercury or opium traces. You imagine the man's trust is hope curdling with each dose. The apothecary counting coins cares little for the consequences. Modern parallel picture, a sketchy health drink with mystery ingredients sold online with 5-star reviews. The bottle's promise was bold, but its contents were a gamble and patients paid the price. The shop's air is heavy with desperation. A woman buys another bottle, her hands trembling. You smell the ketchup's acrid bite, a warning she ignores. This was medicine in a lawless age where faith in red sludge could kill. Like Chatellus, could you stomach a cure that might be your doom? You're in a cramped 1830s American boarding house where a woman pale and trembling uncorks a bottle of Dr. Miles's compound extract of tomato. The room smells of damp wood, and the ketchup's sour tang a supposed cure for her chronic indigestion. She spoons the syrupy red sludge, gagging on its gritty bite, her eyes bright with desperate faith. In the 1830s, with doctors scarce and science shaky, ketchup was a lifeline for the sick, sold as miracle tonic. You watch her swallow heart sinking, she's betting her life on a condiment, and you know it's a losing gamble. The patent medicine craze thrived on such desperation. Historical records show thousands from farmers to city folk bought ketchup for ailments like jaundice or fatigue lured by hucksters' promises. You imagine her hope, each spoonful a prayer for relief, unaware of the toxic additives, lead starch or worse lurking in the mix. Her trust is blind, born of a time when medicine was more faith than fact. Modern parallel picture. Buying a miracle supplement from a shady website, hoping it heals but fearing it harms. Her bottle's nearly empty, yet her cough persists. The room's quiet, save for her shallow breaths. She clutches the bottle, its red glow a false beacon. You smell the vinegar, sharp and cruel, and wonder how many pinned their lives on such lies. Faith in ketchup was a desperate act, and she's its quiet victim. Like Cher tell us, could you trust a cure born of hype and hope you're at a raucous 1830s town fair where a huckster in a garish vest stands on a crate waving a bottle of ketchup like it's holy water? Dr. Miles's compound extract of tomato. He booms, promising cures for fever, aches even a broken heart. The crowd, sweaty and eager, tosses coins their cheers, drowning out doubt. You smell the bottle's sour tang, its red glint catching the sun, and marvel at the gall-selling ketchup as medicine in the 1830s patent medicine boom. This guy's a showman, his pitch as slick as the sludge he's peddling. Hucksters like him were the era's rock stars, thriving on America's hunger for quick fixes. Historical broadsides from the 1830s show their claims grew wilder ketchup to banish rheumatism or restore youth. You watch a farmer buy 2 bottles, his eyes gleaming, suckered by the hype. The huckster's grin hides the truth. His cure is tomatoes mixed with vinegar and maybe poison. Modern parallel. Think of a TV infomercial, all flash, and promises selling a potion you shouldn't trust. The crowd's hooked their wallets open, their health at risk. The fair buzzes the huckster's voice, a siren call. A woman buys a bottle, swayed by his charm. You catch the ketchup's acrid whiff, a reminder of lies bottled and sold. These pitches built empires on hope but left suffering in their wake. Like Cher tell us, would you fall for a huckster's silver tongue? You're in a fading 1860s American town, where the apothecary's shelves, once lined with Dr. Miles's compound extract of tomato, now gather dust. The ketchup cure craze, a star of the 1830s patent medicine boom, is crumbling as science creeps in. Doctors armed with new knowledge scoff at tomato tonics, and newspapers expose their toxic additives, lead starch, even mercury. You see a woman, bottle in hand, hesitate, her faith in ketchup's miracles shaken by warnings of poison. You smell the faint tang of vinegar, a relic of a time when hope was bottled in red, and smirk, science finally caught up. But not before wallets and lives were drained. By the mid-19th century, regulations like the 1906 Pure Food and Drug Act loomed, curbing quack cures. Historical records show ketchup's medicinal hype faded, as tomatoes became just food, not magic. You imagine the last huckster is pitch-faltering, tossing empty bottles into the dirt. The apothecary's quiet, its air less heavy with desperation. Modern parallel picture: a miracle supplement pulled from shelves after FDA warnings, its glow dimmed by truth. The crowd moves on, leaving ketchup to season not heal a bit of victory for reason over ruse. The shop's shadows hide the cost of faith misplaced. You spot a cracked bottle, its red stains like blood on the floor. Ketchup's fall spared some, but too late for many. Like Cher tell us, would you mourn the end of a cure that was never real? You're in a 2025 diner, July 19, where ketchup packets gleam on the counter, a far cry from their 1830s role as medicine. The air smells of fries and tangy sweetness, not desperation. Dr. Miles's compound extract of tomato, once a quack cure for indigestion and rheumatism, is now just a condiment, its wild past buried under burger drips. You squeeze a packet, the red sauce pooling, and grin at the journey from apothecary shelves to fast food tables. Ketchup's legacy is a masterclass in rebranding. No one here suspects it once promised miracles or that it hid toxins in its sour depths. The 19th century patent medicine craze made ketchup a star, but science stripped its halo. By the 1900s, it settled into its true role flavouring America's plates. You imagine a huckster's ghost chuckling at ketchup's glow-up, now safe and regulated, no lead or lies. Modern parallel. Think of a fad diet reborn as a harmless snack, its dark days forgotten. You dip a fry, the taste familiar, and marvel at how history's scams become today's comforts.